Hello, good day to you all. Let's discuss about the viruses. Viruses. Study of the viruses play a very significant role in these days. So the discovery of the viruses. Discovery of these virus particles goes back to the 18th century. So it was Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner in the year 1796. Without knowing much more about the virus particles in those days, he was successfully developed a vaccine against the smallpox disease. As the days passed on, later on, in the year 1886, it was Adolf Adolf Meyer. Adolf Meyer, who discovered the infective nature of the tobacco mosaic disease. He was extracted a tobacco plant. He was got a tobacco plant extract, particularly the diseased mosaic diseased plant extract, and he was used the same diseased plant extract to discover the infective nature of the tobacco mosaic disease. After the Adolf Meyer, it was in the year 1892. It was Bomitry Ivanovsky. Bomitry Ivanovsky. He was able to become successfully proved the existence of the viruses. In the similar way to that of the Adolf Meyer, he was also used the tobacco plant extract. Uh, he becomes successful in noticing that uh, the existence of the viruses. And later on, after the Ivanovsky, in the year 1898, it was M.W. Beezernik. M.W. Beezernik in the year 1898. This time, Beezernik was also used the same tobacco plant extract, and he was got the fluid, that nothing but the from the plant extract. He was got the fluid, and he was called it by the name as a Contagium vivum fluidum. Contagium virum fluidum. Beezernik was also shown that that is infectious fluid, the living infectious fluid, it is filterable. So he was called by the name as a Contagium virum fluidum, nothing but living infectious fluid. This living infectious fluid, it is filterable. We can filter the fluid extract from of a tobacco plant. So in this year, in the 1898, the contribution of the Beezernik considered to be as an one of the very important the discovery. So the living infectious fluid uh, can be a filterable fluid. We can filter this fluid. We can filter this fluid. So he was for the first time used the term virus. Used the term virus. Virus. The term virus, actually, it is derived from the Latin language. The Latin language. In Latin, in Latin, Latin word. In Latin, venom means poisonous fluid. Poisonous fluid. From this, the word venom, the word virus developed. So, venom means what? Poisonous fluid that infect and cause a disease. In this way, the discovery of the viruses developed. So, the study of the virus is very important nowadays. So, we know that viruses are one of the smallest known microscopic organisms. They cause diseases in many organisms, many plants, animals, and microscopic organisms, insects, birds, etc. So, uh, study of the virus is known as virology. Virology is the branch of the microbiology. A person who is specialized in the study of the viruses, or a person who is very specialized in the study of the viruses, can be called as a virologist. Number of virologists have contributed a lot in understanding about the viruses. Number of viruses, they infect to the plants, the animals, and even the bacteria, microscopic organisms, insects, birds, different groups of the plants. They shows a very specificity in their mode of action, in their mode of the infection. They cause certainly diseases, very destructive, deadly diseases in various plants and then animals. So viruses are responsible for destructive damages to our croplands. They cause a very destructive diseases in our croplands. Not only in our croplands, but many other plant species as well. So the virus particles also infect to a number of animals. They cause very dangerous deadly diseases in animals as well, including human beings. So when we come across these virus particles, uh, we commonly think of the common cold, or the hepatitis B, and then the rabies, and the AIDS. Of course, in these days, the coronavirus, it is a very dangerous virus in these days. So therefore, the study of the viruses, their nature, their property, their how they infect to the particular group of the plants or animals, or a very specific plant or animal, or any other the organism. It is very important to study about the occurrence, distribution, and the structure of some of the plant viruses, animal viruses, or any other bacterial viruses, their the infection, their mode of infection, their multiplication, nothing but how they replicate, how they increase their number. It is very important. So therefore, it is incorporated under your syllabus. So the discovery of the virus goes back to the 18th century, as I already mentioned earlier. It was the Adolf Meyer, the Beezernik, and Ivanovsky. Not only these, the scientists or the virologists contributed in understanding much more about the viruses. After the Beezernik, in the year 1935, number of the scientists, especially the discovery of the Stanley is very important. He was discovered that we can crystallize the tobacco mosaic, the virus. So he was also experimented on the tobacco plant. He was also used the same diseased mosaic, the tobacco mosaic diseased plant, and he was become able to discover that we can crystallize the tobacco mosaic virus. So it was this particular the virus, that is the plant virus, tobacco mosaic virus, is the first virus studied in a detailed way. Means what? It was this particular virus, the tobacco mosaic virus, how they infect to the plant, how they multiply inside the tobacco plant, how they uh, transmit from one plant to another plant. So the plant virus, the tobacco mosaic virus, after the study of the tobacco mosaic virus in a detailed way, later on in the 19th century, the discovery of number of viruses takes place. So uh, uh, the definition of the virus is like this: viruses are submicroscopic entities or ultramicroscopic infectious entities. They infect and then cause a diseases. They cause a deadly diseases. It is nothing but these are potentially pathogenic microscopic organisms. uh, Virus particles are very interesting because of the fact that virus particles at a time they shows both the living and then non-living characteristic properties. So the study of the different properties of the viruses gives us an idea whether these virus particles are living or non-living. So let's study about the various properties of the viruses. Properties of viruses. So I already mentioned earlier that viruses are submicroscopic, highly infectious entities. They infect and then cause a disease. So they multiply only inside the host plant cell, animal cell, or any other bacterial cell. Virus particles are much smaller than that of the any other known bacteria. So virus particles, even they infect to the bacteria, they multiply inside the bacterial cell. Later on, I shall discuss with all of you about how can the virus particle infect to the bacterial cell and then multiply inside the bacterium cell. So the properties of the viruses are many. So you know that these are submicroscopic or ultramicroscopic entities. They multiply only inside the host living cell, and they infect and then cause a disease. Another property of the virus is like this: they require always a host cell to increase their number. Means what? The virus particles, when they are present outside the living host cell, they remain present as a non-living particles or non-living things. they require a particular host cell to multiply. This is another property of the virus particles. Virus particles are acellular or a non-cellular microscopic organisms. These are acellular or a non-cellular microscopic organisms. The virus particles do not exhibit any cell structure. So virus particles are very interesting. They contain only the genetic material covered by a outer protective coat. This means that the genetic material may be either DNA or RNA. Covered by a outer protective coat called a capsid. Inside a capsid there is a central inner core in which either DNA or RNA is present. Every virus particles exhibit such a very simple structure. Every virus particle, maybe the plant virus, animal virus, or any other bacterial virus, every virus particle contains a genetic material which is covered by or protected by the outer protective coat called a capsid. So this capsid made up of proteins. Units or small units of the capsid are also called capsomers. Number of capsomers, usually they aggregate together or they join together to form a protein known as a capsid. Outer protective coat or a capsid, inner there is a genetic material. This is the simple structure of the virus particles. Another property is that even there are some virus particles, even they covered by extra envelope, outer envelope. This is the capsid, the genetic material like that. Virus particles are much smaller than that of the any known other the microscopic organisms. Say for example the bacteria. Every virus particles contain a genetic material covered by a capsid. This capsid made up of number of capsomers. The sequence of the arrangement of these number of capsomers determine the shape of the particular viruses. So this is very important. Capsomers, their symmetry, arrangement of the symmetry, their symmetry always determine the shape of the virus particle. So usually virus particles appears in a rod shape or a helical shape, a spherical shape, icosahedral shape, like that. Some viruses even they exhibit very complex the symmetry of the arrangement of the capsomers in their capsids. So the study of the viruses is very interesting. These are neither living organisms nor non-living things. They contain only the genetic material covered by a capsid. This capsid made up of a capsomers. Capsid and a capsomers. Okay. Genetic material may be either the DNA or RNA. So based on this particular genetic material, nowadays number of virologists they have classified the different viruses. Viruses were classified based on the fact that earlier virus particles were classified based on the mode of the infection or some like this, some virus particles infect only to the animals, some virus particles infect only to the plants, some virus particles infect only to the bacteria. So based on their mode of infection, virus particles were classified earlier as a plant viruses, animal viruses, and bacterial viruses. Plant viruses are those they infect only to the plants and then cause diseases. Animal viruses are those they infect only to the animals and then cause diseases in them. Bacterial viruses are those only they infect to the bacteria in which they multiply or they destruct the bacterial cells. So it was this the earlier classification of the viruses. But nowadays, after the discovery of the chemical composition of the capsomers, the geometry, that is the arrangement of the capsomers in the capsids, after the study of the fully description of structure of the various virus particles, after the study of the nature and property of the genetic material which is present in almost different number of virus particles. Nowadays virus particles are classified based on the presence of a particular type of the genetic material. They contain either the DNA or RNA. But take for example higher plants and then higher animals actually contain DNA and then RNA. Both the DNA and then RNA are present in the cytoplasm in higher animals and higher plants. DNA act as a genetic material in higher plants and higher animals. But in this case, in viruses, DNA or RNA act as a genetic material. RNA in higher animals and then higher plants does not act as a genetic material. Based on the fact that what kind of the genetic material is present in virus particles, based on the presence of a particular genetic material, the virus particles are classified. Like the DNA viruses, animal DNA viruses. Again, in the DNA viruses, double-stranded DNA viruses, single-stranded DNA viruses. In case of the RNA viruses, double-stranded RNA viruses, single-stranded RNA viruses, like that. So this is the modern system of the classification of the viruses. Next, the property of the virus is that virus particles are acellular or non-cellular microscopic organisms. They require always a host cell to multiply or to replicate. So they never replicate or they never multiply outside the host cell. So this means that virus particles always need a host cell to multiply. So these virus particles lack the cell machinery. They lack the cell machinery. Cell machinery. They lack the cell machinery. So cell machinery means what? Take for example any prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell. A cell usually covered by a plasma membrane, inside of which there is a protoplasm or a cytoplasm. In this the protoplasm or in the fluid which is present inside the cell, number of different the cell organelles, number of different the cell organelles are present. So the virus particles do not contain such a cell, the metabolic cell machinery. They lack the or they lack the metabolic machinery. They do not respire, they do not synthesize the ATP molecules, they never photosynthesize. So these are totally speaking, these are like parasites. These are total parasites. We can call them as a obligatory intracellular parasites. Obligatory intracellular parasites. Intracellular parasites. intracellular parasites. They live inside the host cell. They replicate inside the host cell only. They never replicate outside the living host cell. They always require the living host cell. The living host cell may be the plant cell or the animal cell or any other bacterial cell. So in order to multiply or in order to increase their number or in order to replicate inside the living host cell, maybe the plant cell or the animal cell, so they use the host cell machinery. Host cell machinery means what? After the infection to the host plant cell or the animal cell, uh, before to multiply or before to replicate inside the host cell, animal cell or the plant cell. So the infection of the animal cell is different, infection of the plant cell is different, plant virus is different. Animal virus, plant virus, they infect to the animal cell and plant cell differently. So okay, so the infection, the mode of infection of the animal virus to the animal cell, the mode of infection of the plant virus to the plant cell, it is different. I shall discuss with you later on. After the infection, it may be the plant virus or the animal virus. Virus particle, before to multiply, before to replicate inside the host cell, the genetic material of the virus particle, suddenly it arrests the metabolic machinery of the host cell. This is very important. So these are virus particles are acellular or non-cellular microscopic organisms. They exhibit at a time some living properties and some non-living properties. They are neither totally living beings nor non-living things. On the other hand, these are neither prokaryotes nor eukaryotic organisms. So viruses are highly infectious obligatory intracellular parasites. Okay, so they stop the metabolic activity of the host cell. After the arrest of the metabolic machinery of the host cell, they start to multiply. They start to replicate inside the host cell. This is one of the very important property of the virus particle. So during their replication inside the host cell, every virus particle undergo eclipse phase. Eclipse phase. This means that the virus particle after the infection, the genome, it undergoes destruction. Means what? The genetic material disintegrates and become into a small number of pieces at a molecular level. Entire the virus particles actually it becomes unavailable. That means what? Eclipse phase means what? The genetic material or the genome of the virus particle disintegrates into a disintegrates to a molecular level. So this can be termed as a eclipse phase. Eclipse phase. This is another important the property of the virus. So the study of the virus play a very significant role. That is they infect with the plants, animals and other bacteria and cause a deadly destructive diseases in them. They cause a damage to the tissues. They shows a very specificity in their mode of action. a particular virus infected to the particular plant. Again, a particular plant, they infected to a particular tissues of the plant. In this way, they shows a specificity in their mode of action, in their mode of infection. Specificity show in their mode of action means what? Take for example animal viruses. Animal virus also shows a specificity in their mode of infection. Specifically, very particularly, they infect to a particular organ, particular tissues of the organ. Okay, particular virus infected to the particular organ or organ system or a particular tissues of the body of the animal. They shows a specificity in their mode of infection. This is another very important property of the virus. The virus particles never infect to different cells, different tissues, different organs of the body. It is known that viruses can also cause the cancers in various animals and plants. So such a viruses are also called oncogenic viruses. Study of the viruses is very important in order to control such a dangerous diseases. So the virus particles exhibit at another property is that economically the viruses are very important. So the interferons, a group of chemicals, or a specific a particular class of chemical compounds are very useful in order to control the infection of the viruses. Means what? Interferons are a class of chemical compounds, particularly proteins. They prevent the infection of the viruses. Uh, interferons are the chemicals secreted by the virus infected cell itself. So the economic importance of the viruses is also more. It is also very important. Some viruses are used as a vectors to transfer the genetic material, that is a specific segment, a particular segment of the DNA from one organism to another organism in the field of the recombinant DNA technology. So it is very important. Economically, viruses are also very important for us. Of course, virus particles they infect whenever they infect to the plant or animal or any other organism. They definitely cause a disease. These are very dangerous organisms. I shall continue the same. I shall continue the other living and non-living properties of the viruses in another class. Thank you.